Many traders believe they need to control every aspect of their trades to succeed. But what if the truth is that control is the very thing holding you back? In today's episode, together with Greg, we dive into the powerful need for control, how it shows up in our trading and in life, and why trying to micromanage every outcome can lead to frustration and missed opportunities. If you are feeling anxious about your trades and constantly trying to force things to work out, this episode is for you. You are listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. I am your host, Agnieszka Wood, a trading mindset coach and a seasoned day trader with over a decade of experience. If you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. In this podcast, we explore the fascinating world of psychology and the human element of trading. We take a deep dive into different perspectives to inspire you and help you navigate the emotional ups and downs of trading with self-compassion and confidence. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, this podcast is your trusted companion providing support on your trading journey. Get ready to boost your confidence and unlock the secrets to mastering your mindset for success. Welcome to episode 59, the harming habit of controlling the market and how to break it to improve your trading results. Hi, Greg. Welcome back to our next episode. It's so good to have you back again. And it seems like right now it's just became a normal routine that it's you and I here. And I know that the listeners love it. So thank you for joining me every 2 weeks for this really inspiring conversation.
Absolutely. It's still and still continues to be one of my favorite times of the week when we get to sit down and chat about life, psychology, trading, and hopefully drop some information that will be helpful for somebody at some point during the day. So absolutely love it.
Yeah, because it's always connected, isn't it? Like the way we live, that's the way we trade. So I know our
Mhm.
conversations always go, our conversations often go, back and forth, life and trading, and it's almost impossible to really split it when you talk about psychology.
I agree because your psychology of how you stand in that day bleeds into everything that you do. So to set yourself up correctly mentally makes a massive difference when you start to sit down and start to look at charts and trading and positions and size and risk and all of it comes into play. So they do walk hand in hand.
Totally. And today we are talking about control.
Hmm. Oh
So
yeah.
why do we all want to control, especially in trading? What is it about the environment of trading that makes us feel like we need to control every single outcome?
Yeah, it's one of those illusions that we all believe that we're chasing after and that we can obtain at one way, shape, or form that we can contain control. Because the more control we have, the more at ease we are with the position that we're in, whether that's in life or trading. Because when you feel as though that you know an outcome, or you feel as though you know that you set yourself up correctly, that puts you at ease. So the stress and the fear begin to reduce in the next portions of your life. So the control is really the aspect of reducing the stress and fear that comes along with the next steps in your life. So
Yeah. So the uncertainty, basically. So
yes.
we have a very strong desire for uncertainty in an uncertain world, right?
Yeah.
We are trying to diminish the effects of what might happen. That's why a lot of people always go with like, what if this happened? What if that happened? The ifs,
Hmm.
right? To fill up our headspace
Yeah.
and make us a lot of times afraid, anxious, and sometimes even paralyzes us to make decisions, right? Because if we don't know what's going to happen, how do you know you're making the right decision? And in the market, this need for certainty can be magnified because market is not only uncertain, but it's also very unpredictable.
Oh, yes. Extremely unpredictable. And that's where, the idea and concepts of control are so outdated from what we used to be to what we are now that we always used to, I mean, that used to be a great saying, control what you can control. And that is wonderful and steeped in a whole process of, positive thinking and being able to control what you can control. But more often than not, everyone had said you can't control what they think. You can't control what they do. You can't control when they do it. And all of that aspect was finger pointing toward another direction or another person.
Right.
So when you physically sit down and start to truly understand what you can control means, is that it starts with your emotions, because your emotions will dictate your actions and your reactions, and your actions and reactions will dictate the next steps of your life. So controlling is an idea and concept that needs to be steeped inside your own self, and understanding your emotional state before you choose to do anything in life, because your actions and reactions are the things that you either are judged for, the things that you apologize for, or the things that you hang your hat on that you've accomplished in life and are happy with the position that you're in. Those only come from you being able to recognize the state that you're in before you do anything. And in trading, it is massive to understand what what type of day you're having, what type of morning you're having. If you slept well, if you didn't sleep well, you can't control that. That's already done, but you can control how much you trade. You can control your position size. You can control your risk. All of those things come into play with truly understanding what the control is. And it really starts with your own emotional reaction to the state that you're currently in.
Absolutely. Because we cannot control the market and we can control ourselves. But even switching that focus, sometimes it's very challenging for many traders. Just understanding
Mhm.
the fact that we really don't have control over the market. And in life, we do everything we can to get that false sense of control, right? We buy
Yeah.
insurances, we make promises to each other. I will always love you. I will never hurt you. All this kind of things.
Yep.
We are really trying to build the security around ourselves so that we know what we can expect. And if you really think about it, that's not really the truth, right? Because you still don't know what's going to happen. But we create that sense of control so that we can stay calm and that we can live our life and be happy, right? And then things happen in life and then they destroy you, so to say, right?
Yeah.
It's now it's a huge drama because your unrealistic expectation of security
Hmm.
suddenly got completely destroyed. And then you bring that into trading and you try to do the same thing. And
Yeah.
yes, you can use a lot of indicators, you can use market research, and you are trying to create the same level of control. And
Yeah.
that is what is biting many traders really, really badly.
Yeah, no question. And the more indicators that you add, the more support and resistance that you add, the more, setups that you choose to, view, whether it's a Fibonacci sequence or, parallel channels or whatever it is that you want to add. Those are illusions of control inside of what you believe in trading. And
Right.
the more that you add, the more control you believe you have. But in reality, the more that you add to your charts, to your visual aspects, the more confusion you get and the less control you get. Which is why I always love making trading as simple as I can make it. That's very different for every person who trades.
Right.
Some people like to have 5 indicators, some people like to have 2 indicators. But whatever that version of simple is for you is the version of control that will make you feel most comfortable. And that's hugely important in, again, just the psychological aspect of how you set yourself up makes you feel confident. And that control is completely up to you by following your method, by following your plan, by following your evaluation and your risk and your position size that make you feel as though this moment, I have the best amount of control that I can have. It's still an illusion, but it does give you the opportunity to give yourself a chance to react correctly when things are or aren't going the way you think they are.
Right. You know what is not the illusion, however, is the stop loss order.
Yeah, very true.
I remember when I switched from thinking that stop is actually hurting me because I'm losing to start seeing it as a sort of insurance policy and something that is certain that when it gets hit, it protects me. This
Hmm.
is a certainty, right? When your stop order gets hit, you're out of the trade.
Yeah.
This is certain. So, this is one thing that traders have in their pocket as a tool that gives you certainty, and most don't use it just because
Yeah.
that's crazy, right? If you read, like, if you think about it, like, do you want certainty? This is your certainty ticket. Use
Hmm.
it.
Oh, yeah.
But instead, what we do, and I did it so many times in my past that, I can definitely say we do,
Oh,
because
yeah.
we see it as something that is hurting us. So we are trying to avoid it. And by avoiding it, by moving the stop or removing it or completely not placing it, we are bringing much more randomness to already unpredictable and uncertain environment, bringing more anxiety and more stress into our trading day.
Oh God, yeah. I'm right with you. I was in the very beginning. I used to look at stop losses as a negative, that I made the trade wrong because it hit my stop loss. Or, I if I just moved it, I could have made more money because it pivoted shortly after it. And I used to look at it in such a negative connotation that that actually devalued the amount of control that I had in my mind, the way that
Right.
I viewed it, until you just have to run the whole process and do the gamut that you and I did, where you have to keep making the mistake and start recognizing it's there to protect me. It's not there to remove control. It's not there to remove risk. It's there to improve control and improve risk.
Right. I wonder how traders would see the stop loss order if it was called protection order or something in that
Yeah,
sense.
that's actually, that's probably a very great idea. Just to be able to reword that, to not have it as a negative connotation, as more of a protective connotation. Great idea.
Right. Because who wants to lose? Nobody wants to lose. And that's why
Right.
everyone is trying to avoid losses and seeing it as that negative thing, right? But again, this is really like, if you want to control something, this is your tool to control your losses,
Yeah.
basically. If you don't want to lose big, this is the way not to do it.
Yeah. 100%. If you want to be able and use it as a complete different connotation of reframing it as, protecting profits, or, protecting your portfolio, whatever it is that you want to reword that. I agree wholeheartedly, because even the word stop loss, so you get stopped out, is just steeped in a negative connotation, rather
Right.
than making it and flipping it into a protective mode to help you control what you can control.
Right. It's all about beliefs, right? What we make
Yeah.
ourselves believe. Like, if we believe the stop loss is bad for us, we are naturally are going to avoid it. Because of course, if something is going to hurt us, and then there's this whole story going behind it, like, oh, I got stopped out and now I'm not in a trade, I'm not going to be making money that I could have been making.
Yep.
It's just this whole narrative that follows the very first belief. It's like the stop is bad,
Yeah.
and the loss, taking a loss in trading is bad. And just reframing in your own head the fact that losses are part of trading. And I know that a lot of traders are saying that. We always say, oh, yeah, I know losses are part of trading. But knowing and really embodying it and feeling it as, seeing it as losses are part of winning strategy.
Yeah. They 100% are. You can't, there's nothing you're ever going to do in life. I mean, you can take trading out of the next part of the conversation. Take trading out. Anything that you do in life, you're never going to consistently win at. And you are going to fail at it. At some point, something's going to go wrong. It's not going to go the way you wanted. You are going to fail at it.
Yes.
And I actually just read a phenomenal quote the other day that said, if you knew that you were 25 failures away from success, how fast would you want to move through those 25
That
failures?
is fantastic. That is so good.
And that like opened my eyes to, oh, that's absolutely amazing because no matter what we do, we're going to fail at it. Now, we don't have a set number of 25, but using that as an example, you know you're going to fail. So don't fear it. You know you can't control it. It's going to happen. But the next thing you can do is control your movement forward. Accept the loss, figure out what you did and didn't do, and then apply that moving forward. Then just tick that off the amount of failures that you have until you choose to see it as successful. And that's hugely huge, was a great quote that I loved and will write down and put up in my apartment for sure.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's so fantastic quote. And I totally agree with you with the when you said learn from it, right? Because just failing, like if you take like, oh, so yeah, the failure belongs to trading. So let me just fail. That means I'm getting closer. No, you're not
Oh,
getting closer just by failing. You're getting closer by
yes.
learning from failure. That is what brings you closer. So there is also, part of the belief, like if any of you guys who are listening think, oh, so it's okay to fail because that brings me closer. Not per
No.
se. When you learn from it, then
Yes.
yes, because then you know what not to do the next time and how to handle things
Oh,
differently
yeah.
the next time. And that is also one thing. Like if you do that, if you look at your trade, if you really analyze it and take those lessons, that creates also more confidence in your strategy, in yourself, clarity about what is it that I need to do
Hmm.
next. And you still don't know what the outcome will be, but there is the part of that
Hmm.
emotion that you get from it that helps you to act in a very different way, from a very different point in connection to the uncertainty,
Yeah.
because you have created for yourself some evidence of, oh, okay, so I have seen it working 90% or 60% of the time, or even 40%, no matter
Yeah.
what it is. And then you take that evidence and generate that feeling of like, okay, I've seen it. So the next time when it's coming, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that the probability is
Yeah.
decent, right? So you get much more confidence to actually take the decision.
Yeah. And I had mentioned this earlier in a previous podcast. When you can reframe it and you can start to gain more control in your life, you're going to be able to do that by recognizing no matter the outcome, it's the answer you needed. No matter what it is.
Right.
If you failed at that trade, that's the answer you needed. If you succeeded at that trade, that's the answer you needed. You just have to take the ability to sit down and learn what it is or isn't that worked for you. And then that is how you just consistently can move forward through success and failure. They both start to bleed together because you're always consistently learning, not only in trading, in life.
And it's helping you to make the right decisions.
Yes. Every decision you make is helping you one way, shape, or form move forward. Whether you learn lessons of what you shouldn't do or you learn lessons of what you should do. Both are the answer you need.
Absolutely. I want to share a personal story that has to do with beliefs and how they impact us in our life, trading, everything, that we do later on in life. So beliefs go really deeply, right? And
Hmm.
sometimes we think, okay, we are done with something. Like, I have worked through my beliefs for many years, and I felt like belief about control, like I was done with it. Like anything that has to do with control, like I don't try to control the market anymore. I don't try to control people. I'm very good at letting go.
Hmm.
But recently something happened when I was playing tennis. I usually play singles,
Yep.
and recently I started playing doubles. So my partner I was playing with said to me, it's all about communication. Okay. It's like, oh, okay. So he says, we just have to communicate with each other who is going to take the ball so that we don't run into each other, we don't hit each other.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sounds good. And then the very first set, I just kept ignoring what he was saying. He said, like, I got it. And I would just run to the ball and hit it. I was so used to playing on my own and be in control.
Yep.
So I was like, what is that? What is that I just simply cannot let it go and trust that he has it, especially that he's much better player than I am. So it happened so many times. And he said at the end, we lost, by the way, but he said at the end, you got to listen. It's about communication. You got to listen. And I thought about it and I realized that it is not about me not listening. It's about me letting go of control.
Mm-hmm.
And that hit me so hard, but I had to, in a way, I had to laugh. So I told him, I said, well, this has nothing to do with me not listening. This has
Mm-hmm.
something to do with me not letting the control go, because I believe that if I have a control, then things will go right. I was pondering about it later on during the day. And what I realized that this actually goes so much deeper into my life, into what happened in my life and my need for control, where that stems from. So when I was young, think I was around 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
One day I went to a hairdresser. This was a big day because this was the first time that my mom said, if you are at this age, if you finish your primary school, you are allowed to do a perm. At that time, perms, well, were completely in. So I went to do my perm and it took, kid you not, probably like 8 hours I spent there. And when I was going back home, I saw my friends running up to me and like screaming and shouting at me. And I was like, what is happening? And they said, your brother had an accident.
Mm.
And I was so shocked. It was just like Twilight Zone for me. My brother at that time was 7 years old. He was playing outside and he just was behind one of the cars playing with something on the ground. Later on, he said he saw some ants and he was playing with the ants. And the car backed and ran over him. And by the time that I came home, already the ambulance was there and, you know, the girls were like shouting to me. And I, like, my whole world just collapsed
Oh.
because I wasn't there. And this happened to him. I made myself believe that if I were there, this would have never happened. So I took this whole guilt on myself because I
Yep.
was the older
Yeah.
sister. And by the way, I'm the middle sister. So if you know anything about the middle child, you know that we always take responsibility for everyone.
I hand raised. I'm with you.
Through my whole life, that belief that I have created at that very moment of I need to control everything. And when I'm there, I can make sure that nothing bad happens. When I look back,
Mm-hmm.
when I was thinking about it, and when I looked back in my life, this belief was sort of being confirmed over and over again, that every time when I wasn't there, something bad happened. Of course, it was all random, but just the way that I was seeing it was only building the evidence that
Mm-hmm.
it's true. So, for example, you know, I went on a
Yeah.
long vacation to Thailand, and mind you, that was already when I was around 30 years old. So this belief has been with me my whole life. And there were a lot of things happening. And I always was
Yeah.
thinking, you know, like, for example, when when someone was going, like my parents were leaving the house, I would always think and be in an anxiety that I won't be with them. What if something happens to them and I'm not there? Like, I cannot protect them. And I was a
Mm-hmm.
child. So that was so deep.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I went to my vacation to Thailand, and then my grandma died. And then boom, there you go again. It's like I wasn't there and she died. Obviously, I mean, my grandma was really old, bless her heart. And it wasn't my fault that she died.
Absolutely not.
I was just on vacation. But just that belief just, briefly ran through my mind again.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling of control kept coming back in my life. When I was playing the tennis, I thought like, oh my God, I am still trying to control everything, because it's very difficult for me to give trust
Mm-hmm.
to someone else, to say, okay, if you do it, it will be fine and I can just relax.
Mm-hmm.
I am still trying to control the situation. And that was just like this, eye opener to me, that I thought I was done with that. But it seems that this really deep rooted belief is somehow still working, and have power over how I handle situations.
Yeah, and I don't feel as though you're alone, and thank you for sharing. That was absolutely amazing, and I, you're not alone in that aspect. I used to do something similar to that in helping individuals, and I always used to be the one that would always support people, and I was always be the one to drive people, and I'd always be the one not to drink and to get people home, and all of those aspects until my world came crashing down, and I had to come to the realization that what I was trying to control was the decisions that other people were making.
Yeah. Oh, I just got goosebumps. I'm like, oh my God. Yes, that sounds so true to me.
Yes, it wasn't the control of the situation. It ended up being the control of the decisions that the people around me were making.
So taking responsibility for others.
And because they were making those decisions, I felt as though I needed to step in and make a different decision. And when I started to recognize that I can't be responsible for everyone that I love and value and cherish and trust, I can't be responsible for all of their decisions. I can't control them. The only thing I can control is my reaction to the decisions that they make, to let them fail, to be there for them, to support them, to help them, to guide them, to listen. That was the sense of when I had to flip that whole control aspect to me. I can control my emotional response. I can control what I choose to say. I can control how I choose to support someone, how I choose to trust someone. And that's when I was able to flip the decision making process to help me understand me better and to not allow external decisions or experiences or whatever it may be dictate my level of control.
So there's part of it in what you said. So there is a responsibility, and then the part is also fear of failure, right? Because you didn't
Mm-hmm.
want them to fail.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Fear of failure is, a big contributor to people not wanting to take a loss or making a mistake, right? Desire to protect yourself from that because you don't want to make a mistake. Fear of failure has something to do also with the trust, right? And if we cannot trust ourselves, we might actually
Mm-hmm.
have bigger fear of failure than when we do trust ourselves, right? Because I don't know what I can expect from myself. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do in this situation. So when you don't have that self-trust, you're actually introducing even more uncertainty to already uncertain environment.
And reducing the control. And ultimately, I mean, I've a little bit of a tangent, but I know we're chatting about control, but even the ideas and concepts of trust are, you have to understand the idea of trust before you can define it. And that is, if you're looking at another person and you trust that another person will do something, or you trust another person will say something, all you're doing is saying, I trust you will say what works for me, with me. If I trust you're going to do something, I trust you're going to do something in the manner that I see acceptable, in the manner that I see fit. So really your trust only becomes transactional when you say, I trust that you will X. So you're not even fully trusting someone, you're just expecting them to operate the way you want them to operate.
So good. So that's a matter of expectation, right? So
Yes.
I trust that something is, is going to go according to my expectations.
Yes.
And that shows up in trading as well, right?
All the time.
So when you see the trade working out as you expected, suddenly you feel much more confident and you build more trust. But
Hmm.
that's the illusion,
Yes.
because the trade worked out not because you had a good expectation, or you thought, oh, okay, I was right.
Hmm.
So you start building the confidence and trusting yourself based on the moving sand, pretty much. That's such a good point, Greg. Oh, I love that.
The more that you choose to do that, the more that you begin to recognize really what trust is and how it's built and why it's built. You just start to accept the other person for who they are and what they'll do. And that rings very true for the market. You accept the market for what it is and what it's doing. You don't expect it to do something because it's going to go your way. You just accept it for what it is. It went up when you thought it would go down. That doesn't mean that you've lost control. It doesn't mean that, you're not good. It just means that you trusted that something was going to go in the way that you thought it would be. And that reduces the amount of control that you believe you have when it doesn't happen.
Right. And it doesn't damage your confidence because you understand that this has
Hmm.
nothing to do with whether you are right or wrong.
Has
So,
nothing to do with you.
and since we trade how we live, maybe it's a good practice to look around and think, how do I handle situations with other people, right? Who do I trust? What are my expectations towards other
Hmm.
people? And then see, how is that in trading? Are you taking those patterns and do the same in relationship to the market?
Hmm.
Because that
Yep.
will say a lot. That will tell you a lot. And once you start practicing releasing that control, you will also most likely improve your relationship, because nobody likes to be controlled.
Correct. And when you think about even the concept of if someone you wanted to get into any relationship, you don't want the other party to control you, and there's no reason for you to control another party. So in trading, there's no reason for you to try to control the market when the market isn't trying to control you. Neither one of them are true. They're both an illusion.
Right.
So reduce the amount that you have and recognize that when you do even use the word trust, you need to define it for yourself. You need to understand that if you're saying, I trust something will happen, that's transactional. That's transactional trust. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
different than just trusting that the other person will be who they are or the market will be what it is. And accepting it for what it is, when it is, where it is, removes the idea of transactional trust. And that is a big, huge component that gets tied in with control, because you only want to trust someone because you know that you can control the outcome of what you think or want it to be.
Yeah. And I think that happens a lot because we are making everything about ourselves. We put
Correct.
ourselves in a center and we say, yes, I'm the most important person here, which is absolutely true. You are the center, because
Hmm.
if you think about it, you're standing on the earth and the earth is turning, everything is turning around you. So, yes, everything is turning around you. Now, in relation to other people, they are also the center for themselves.
Hmm.
So, not everything is about you,
No,
only the things that are important for you, and only you are about you.
correct.
So when you start thinking about it this way, it might be easier to get over yourself.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, if you think of that, everybody trading has their own egotistical, point of view of this is about me, this is my trade, my money, my position, my risk, then everything in trading is ego. And if you have ever been in an egotistical room or around people that are self-centered and arrogant and selfish, those are not people that you want to work with or be around. And the market will easily tell you, you're being too arrogant, you're being too egotistical. This is how it's going to go. So you get to react to it. So removing, a whole bunch of that ideas and concepts that, yes, you are important. We're not saying that. You are very important. Your portfolio is important. Your strategy is important. Everything you do is important. But
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that everything needs to go your way.
absolutely. In fact, it's much more relaxed to let the control go and just see how things are going and seeing things as happening for you rather than to you. The interesting thing about control is that we want to control because we need safety, we need
Hmm.
some sort of feeling of worthiness, and because we are scared. So
Hmm.
the more you let the control go, the less of those needs you will have. So the less
Hmm.
fearful you will become, because you can only be fearful when you think, I need to control it, but I can't. Right. And
Yeah.
that's where that panic kicks in. And you're like, I'm trying to control the beast that I cannot control. So you're scared. Yeah. It's like, how are you going to do it? And you cannot control the market. And the market is showing you every single day, you cannot control me. Right.
You cannot, and will not. Very much so. We are not behemoths in this market. We are not the Black Rocks. We are not the Vanguards. We don't move millions of shares and billions of money. We don't do that. So you have to be able to recognize it.
How do we overcome that need for control? You said recognize it, right?
Yeah, well, for me, I one of the things that I had recognized probably close to, if I do a date, God, probably close to 10 years ago, I'll probably ballpark it around then, was that the true freedom, like for me, was not knowing what's next. Because the moment you try to control what's next, the moment you try to expect what's next, the moment you try to, make sure that it's going to work in your favor, whatever it is next, you just amplify your ideas and concepts of trust, of fear, of stress, of anxiety, of control, all of it. So I had to recognize long ago that true freedom is not knowing what's next and choosing that to view it as excitement, not anxiety, because inside your system, like your stress and fear and anxiety aspects can sometimes mirror very closely the ideas and concepts of excitement. And internally, it's tough for you to really distinguish it, but they can be true. But just letting go of what's coming next, accepting it for what it is, and pivoting as you need are the ways that I have chosen to live my life moving forward in trading. And that has helped a massive amount in trading, just because if I, had thought that the market was going to go up and it started to go down, okay, I didn't have any control of that, but it's presented itself to me now. So now is my time to pivot and make a decision. I release my ego. I check it at the door. I don't say, well, I thought this was going to happen, so now I'm terrible, or whatever you want to rehearse in your head. You just let go of it and pivot from what is happening currently. That allows your decision making to change, that allows your strategy to change. It allows everything for you to accept change of what's coming next.
That's so good. And one way, very simple way, always say, I don't know. Simply by saying those three words, this can change everything, because
Yeah.
controlling means that you need to know everything. If you say, I simply don't know, that releases a lot of pressure of you
Mhm.
that you have to know everything, especially in uncertain environment and unpredictable, you cannot know. So sitting there, and instead of
Mhm.
convincing yourself, oh yeah, this is going to go, yeah, this is definitely going to work, just say to yourself, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then see what comes up, see what happens when you pronounce those words to yourself and make it a habit, like almost like a mantra, saying, I don't know, and see what's coming. I found it very useful for myself. And, even as a coach, I always say, I don't have all the answers. I have great questions, but I don't have all the answers. because everyone has the answers for themselves. And our role is not knowing everything. Our life would be so boring if you already knew everything. So just realizing that level of uncertainty we do want to keep in our life. This is what makes life so exciting. I don't know what's going to happen. Can you imagine living knowing every single moment what is going to happen?
So boring. You would actually decrease your longevity because you wouldn't want to live. You already know everything. And the purpose of living is experiencing. And experiencing is things you don't know.
Yeah, how many good feelings and emotions we are creating with hoping, right? I hope for this and I really want this, but I don't know if it's going to happen. And then you strive for something. All these feelings, all these good hormones and neurotransmitters, that they would be gone. Life would be just completely gray. And trading would be boring too.
Yeah. It takes away hopes, dreams, aspirations, everything. Trading would be terrible because I mean, why do it? I mean, if you succeed at every single thing you do because you know the outcome, what's the point of doing it? You never learn, you never grow, you would never do anything.
Yeah. And in fact, this uncertainty is also one of the reasons why many people get into trading, because it does give them that feeling of anticipation, right? It increases your dopamine and you want to find out what's going to happen. So it gives you the excitement. And you put it together with the need for control, and that's the recipe for disaster.
100% it is. And and honestly, I mean, if I just thought about it, if you had adopted the I don't know mentality, it removes the confirmation bias that most of us, progress in life through of I know this is going to happen. And then you'll find answers that will confirm your belief. And if you say, I know something bad's going to happen, you'll find the stuff that you know something bad's going to happen. If you say, I know something good's going to happen, you'll find the stuff for good. So just I don't know can remove the confirmation bias and just allow you to accept things as they are and pivot when you need to.
Absolutely. I also want to give another practical tip. And for those of you who have been working with me or listening to me for a long time, you know that I am a big fan of journaling. And I
Yes.
constantly bang the same drum and talk about journaling. So I would suggest using journaling to capture those moments where you feel the need for control, and just simply write down your thoughts when you are feeling that, when you are in that situation, because when you are there it's just so much easier to catch it, and to when you are experiencing it, it's hot, you can easier get to the core of it. Just like when I was playing tennis and then
Mhm.
thought about it, there were just thoughts coming by itself, and it's a really good moment to grab that and see what's under it, what's really under it,
Yeah.
because it's not just, oh, okay, I just want to make money and that's why I'm scared, I'm afraid. There can be some, and usually is something deeper under it. So this will help you gain more clarity on to see whether are you operating from a place of trust or place of fear.
Hmm. Yeah. And what you'll be able to figure out what's controlling your next steps in trading. And that's hugely important because you have to be able to figure out how to move forward through your successes and your failures.
Greg, thank you so much for this inspiring conversation. And I trust that we have been able to deliver some value here. Lots of points talked about.
Absolutely. Hopefully you walk away with at least some knowledge that you'll be able to deploy in your everyday life. And whether that's in trading or whether that's in relationships or strategy for how you decide to move forward in everything that you do in life. But more importantly, make sure that you apply it in trading and you will find yourself in a different position and to make yourself the best that you possibly can be in trading. And as you know, as we are in life is how we will trade. So they will walk hand in hand.
Absolutely. So going from micromanaging trades to seeing the bigger picture and really stepping stepping away, taking a step back, letting go will help you to live more from the place of trust and stop controlling every little thing, especially knowing you cannot control
You
anything.
cannot.
You cannot control everything. Thank you so much, Greg. And I'm already looking forward to our next conversation.
I'll see you guys soon. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Take care, everyone. And thank you for joining us today. Thank you for listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. If you are enjoying my show, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and tell me what you like about it. Thanks to you, more traders will be able to find me, and together we'll make a bigger impact. So thank you so much. If you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. And make sure to also check some of the previous shows. Thank you again for tuning in. This is Agnieszka Wood from Ahead Coach. Bye for now.